Hi guys,
Love it.
I'm Milena,
Lola.
and we're watching Sopranos.
Let's say I'm watching.
No, I want to say I'm very excited, but like
Okay.
then I remembered why I'm excited about it, because we're watching Sopranos. I edited the episode last night.
You did.
And we're filming now.
And you're editing
And
today
I'm
as well.
editing after when I go home. But very excited, honestly, because the last episode was great.
Oh, it was so good.
I cringed again while editing.
And just remembering the scene.
I mean, scenes.
But I feel like especially the one
when he...
like, yeah, because like it was building up to that room, and it was like, oh.
But like I think through the entire episode, even before that, like I cringed so hard.
Yeah,
honestly,
it was difficult to watch.
Yeah,
I mean, it was so great. It was so well done. It was just so difficult to watch. Now that we got that out of the way, at least that's gonna be, not so uncomfortable, because like Melfi knows where we're at now.
I mean, Melfi knows. Melfi set boundaries. Melfi told him to come back, and at the end of the day, he went to Carmela and talked to her.
Yeah.
Like about the whole thing and their relationship. Yeah. And she apologized, said that she wants to be that woman in his life that he's gonna be vulnerable with.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You are not that woman in my life. You are my life," which was cute. From both sides.
Yes.
I like them.
Yeah, I like
They're
them as
very
well.
Cute. I find that even though he's cheating on her on every step of the way, like
I mean, no one's...
every single day. But like it's an interesting dynamic that they have.
Yeah.
And I really like both characters.
Me too.
Honestly.
I mean, again, I really wonder how his relationship with Carmela is gonna progress as the seasons go on, and like how his relationship with his children is gonna also progress. Like that's the thing that I'm most excited about.
Yeah, and there was a scene where she cried again when she was in a mind that like therapist is the most important person to him right now. And it was their anniversary, and she cried, and like you said, how can you make her cry? And that's exactly the same thing that like I thought, wow,
in that moment,
like, how can you make her cry? Because she's so cute to me.
I don't know, there's
she's
something
adorable.
there's something very endearing, but there's something very endearing about both of them in different ways. Because like, I mean, Tony's a whole other type of character, but like it just works, which makes it great, because you have to watch a main character that's not a good person. So when there's something endearing about them, that's great.
That's necessary, if you ask me.
Otherwise, what the fuck are we doing?
Otherwise, this would be Death Note all
I was
over
gonna
again.
say, and I cannot like mentally handle hating someone as much as I hated Light. Like I can't.
Yeah.
I don't want to go through this again. Yeah. I'm very excited to see what's gonna happen. Did that episode end with
police.
The fucking police?
The wire, yeah.
So good.
So good. And it was boss, and under the boss was
Tony.
Yes.
I love that little, because like he is kind of an acting boss, even though Junior is.
I mean, bigger boss. Like his mom Olivia is a bigger boss than Junior.
Literally,
Junior is just.
I feel like Carmela is a boss.
Being happy because he now has a cool clothes to show off with that name of a boss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, there's worse things you can be.
Of course.
So yeah. I don't know what's going to be happening in this episode. Not clairvoyant. So the only way we can find out is we'll play. And I couldn't be more excited. So let's just play.
Why are you...
Why are you whispering?
At least one of us always whispers.
True. But like, why?
Why?
I don't know.
That's him. Your father never told you about right and wrong.
I mean, I think his father told him what's wrong. He brought him in this business.
Yes, but like I don't think he understands.
Are you drinking wine?
Oh my god, are they drunk?
Of course they're drunk. They're like 12. They probably drank.
They're drunk. I cannot.
Imagine being called to school.
Because your 12-year-old got drunk.
Middle school, not high school.
Oh my god.
He's gonna smell it on
That's
there.
what I say. Are they gonna smell?
Or they're gonna
or
vomit.
Are they gonna just...
They're about to vomit.
Yes. Because like, you know, like being drunk, that would be my last guess.
If for elementary, yes. If this is high
like,
school,
they ate
that would be
something
my first
bad.
thought.
Is there alcohol in your breath?
God, I just am trying to imagine my dad being called for my middle school with me being drunk. Imagine. How is he gonna react to that?
How am I? I got dust up the crack of my ass.
Why is he so funny?
You're doing an excellent job. Allow yourself to take pleasure in that.
You sure it was them?
They were drunk in gym class. Byron Barber vomited all over the teacher.
Very sorry, Father Hagee, and he's gonna be even sorrier when he gets home.
Oh, like this is like a Christian school? Is then like a principal a priest? Mm-hmm. How does this work?
Well, at least let me pay for the wine.
Theft of the sacramental wine is not just a crime against property. This is an affront to our holy sacristy. And I've asked Dr. Galani. He's our school psychologist to join us.
In many respects, Anthony is a normal, healthy
Eighth grader.
eighth grader. But the thing is, though, and it's not just this one incident, Anthony sometimes has trouble following the rules, weighing consequences. At times doesn't think before he acts. And it's thought that there's a good possibility Anthony could be attention deficit disorder.
I knew it. I always knew there was something.
Inattention, impulsivity, sometimes, although not always, hyperactivity. First, to be sure, we'll need to give him a thorough evaluation.
All he needs is a whack upside the head.
If he's got an illness, if you hit somebody who's sick, you hit somebody with polio.
Hit Anthony?
Nobody gets hit in our house. Not exactly my idea.
Like just in the
Not
backyard.
exactly my
A
idea.
little time telling the kids every once in a while when they step out of line.
He'll be given a complete battery of testing.
He kind of is his father's son.
Medical.
It's a crime to suspend that child from school with all the money you give them.
I bet that gym teacher shit. Whatever happened, the boys will be boys.
He stole from the church. They don't make him any lower than that.
Always thought it was the same way. I practically lived in that vice principal's office. Well, you only remember what you want to remember. Well, I must have had another son who stole a car when he was 10 years old.
Him and his little crew. They used to steal lobsters on the boats on the shore and sell them for $1 a piece down on Bloomfield Avenue.
Really?
How many times do I gotta say this? I don't want that kind of talk in front of this kid.
Your father and I have talked. You are not to play Mario Kart or go skateboarding for 3 weeks. And no TV.
Fair.
No. And you are not going to sit on that internet either. And every day, you're going to ride your bike over to Green Grove Retirement Home and visit Grandma.
Oh, that'll be nice.
It's not fair.
Well, the stuff that doctor was saying, I never saw any of that in Anthony.
You ever notice the way he picks at the tongue of his tennis shoe?
You think he knows?
I don't know. She knows.
Really? What makes you say that?
Interesting.
You know, things she says, you know, she makes remarks like this today with him.
Are you in the mafia?
She talked to you? About me?
Talk to me?
Maybe I don't want to admit there's something wrong with my kid. But this all sounds like bullshit to me.
ADD is a controversial subject.
Is it a disease or is it a way for these psychologists to line their pockets?
Many children can really benefit by professional intervention.
So you don't consider his behavior out of the norm?
No.
I don't know if he's also trying to justify himself by justifying his son.
What do I know about it?
Do you see his behavior as a reflection of your own?
Exactly.
Look, like I said, maybe I don't want to admit there's something wrong. But if he's got this thing, we'll deal with it. You pick up the pieces and you go on from there.
Well, last time you were telling me that you had intimate feelings for me. How are you doing with it?
I just can't turn off my feelings because you tell me it's a byproduct of therapy.
I never said you should turn off your feelings.
Well, I already got a girlfriend. Russian. 24.
I don't know. Usually have some. Look at him.
I find it interesting that it took you so long to tell me that you had a girlfriend.
How are you doing with it?
How embarrassing.
Anthony Jr., you get up! What? I'm not lying around in bed all day. We're not running a hotel over here. Get up! Have some breakfast! Anthony Jr., turn off that music! Your father is sleeping!
That's the thing that woke him up.
He's like, should I go easy on him? Why do you know the this song? Was it in some other show as well? This song was another show. Which one? Someone help me.
Hey, Johnny!
Uncle Joe, what are you doing here so early?
Hey, Anthony, where's your old man? He said he'd be waiting outside.
Want me to go get him?
Hey!
Anthony, why aren't you on your way to school? You missed your bus. You want to walk to the colored neighborhood. Junior, big fancy car.
Pay attention to what those teachers tell you. You hear me, Anthony?
This is literally episode 1 with him.
He's watching his father.
And this is how we got introduced to Tony.
Don't do this to okay.
God, that was fascinating. I want to go back.
Go fucking sleep with all this shit going on.
Don't talk to her like that.
Jefferson Airplane this morning. How about that? 1967. Made me think about my father.
What about him?
First time I ever saw him whack the shit out of somebody.
What made you think about that?
Something to do with my son, I think, you know? What's been going on.
Why did your father whack the shit out of some guy?
I never saw
What
him
kind
do
of a
something
question
like
is that?
I mean, he used to whack us kids around a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, the belt was his favorite child development tool.
How did you feel about your father after that?
I didn't want him to do it to me.
How did you and your father get along?
Good. He was a good guy, my father. Everybody liked him. My mother never ate anything raw.
His demeanor
But it wasn't
changes
around much.
immediately. Yeah.
What did he do for a living?
He'd tell meat and provisions.
I don't even know what you ask, woman.
I don't know numbers. Extortion, loan sharking.
How did you feel about that? About your father being engaged in illegal activities?
You know, I never really knew about it.
Are you concerned that your son is going to find out about you?
Don't start talking to me about legitimate business.
Does he know anything?
I don't know.
Did you ever talk to your father about it?
What, are you kidding?
And what do you think is going on in this one, Anthony?
I don't know. How many more of these are
This is episode 3 when he was thinking about pictures.
out buying food for the horse?
Does that mean your father providing? What does that mean?
Or watching TV, maybe?
Doctors say that?
The doctors don't know anything yet. They just started the testing this afternoon. I just picked up these books at the mall.
Help me to help my child?
Approximately 50% of
She's
children
scared.
diagnosed with ADD receive help from special education teachers in their school.
Come on, we don't even know that's what he's got.
You're right. Let's just be ignorant. Why worry about anything now?
You blame me, don't you? No, go ahead. You blame me.
I blame myself.
For what?
For what?
For staying with me?
I have two eyes.
And who do we blame our daughter on? Straight A student. National Honor Society. Featured soloist in the choir. Like father, like son, right? What about daddy's little girl?
Hi, Grandma.
Well, look who's here.
I wonder
He
how
immediately
she's.
has to be here.
I wonder how she's like as a grandma.
Yeah.
They sent me to a psychiatrist all morning. I took like 1,000,000 tests.
A psychiatrist?
Oh, she doesn't believe in mental health.
I was
Yeah.
suspended and everything.
They sent you to a psychiatrist?
How shocking.
But that's crazy. That's all nonsense. That's nothing but a racket for the Jews.
Dad goes.
He does not.
Yes, he does.
He does not.
Yes, he does.
To a
Because of you, woman.
He does
He does too.
not. You say that that's ridiculous.
Because it's true. I heard him and Mom talking about it.
What does he need a psychiatrist for?
Oh, this would be
He goes
my.
to talk about his mother. That's what he's doing. He talks about me. He complains. She didn't do this. She did that.
I mean, if that's what you think.
Oh, I gave my life to my
Of
children.
course.
She's a
on the
narcissist.
planet. And this is how he repays me.
Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. Yes, he doesn't. No,
This
he
is a comedy show, honestly.
Yesterday I went to a psychologist. How'd that go?
He made me look at these like pictures and stuff, and then I had to say something about them.
Oh, what'd you talk about? Anything interesting?
Let's get him to me and my therapist. You know, he told me I didn't have to say anything if I didn't want to.
That's what we pay extra for at that school?
Some kids at school said some stuff.
What'd they say?
That you were in the mafia?
What do you think?
I don't know. There were all those guys at Uncle Jackie's funeral, and those other guys writing down license plate numbers and taking pictures. Those were feds, right? Just like in Godfather 1. And then I was on the web, and I found this page with Uncle Jackie on it. And it said he ran some union that ripped off these pension things or something.
Uncle Jackie was a complicated man. But you loved him, right?
Huh.
Yeah?
Are you gonna love me for being a bad man?
No.
I'm going crazy with this shit. What he knows, what he doesn't know. I'm gonna find out eventually. What difference does it make?
He really wants his kids to think highly of him.
Me, my father. It's probably in the genes, right?
No.
You know, this ADD thing.
Do you hold your father responsible for what you've become?
Yeah, sometimes I think about what life would have been like if my father hadn't got mixed up in the things he got mixed up in. How life would have been different.
We were talking last time about how you felt when you became aware of your father's criminal life. When you first started therapy, you said that you had this dream about those ducks. They flew away with your penis. It was a bad omen that something was going to happen in your family.
Look, if you know something, please, quit fucking around.
I think it's important to remember. He who doesn't understand history is doomed to repeat it.
My eyes are watering. This is just so good. I feel overwhelmed.
Heads up!
Just thinking about my uncle. Used to throw the ball with me.
I seem
The
more
one with
present.
whom you hold the static?
And my sister came out.
The one who lives in California?
Yeah,
The sister.
Janice.
How does she feel about your parents?
Does she
Who
cook
gives a
enough?
fuck what she thinks? She calls herself Vishna Mata or something. Soprano wasn't good enough for her. Fucking wannabe dothead.
Why were you thinking of your uncle?
I don't know.
What are you doing? I'm getting in the car.
I seem more present than her father.
Or at least hung out with him more.
Oh, I want to go with you guys. He said no.
Janice?
Interesting.
Go on. Please, you want to give me anything.
You have another sibling?
Janice always gets everything she wants. Where are they going today? I don't know why I couldn't go.
That's because your sister does as she's told.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Perfect.
That's driving me crazy!
Oh my fucking
Oh,
god.
God.
She said what?
She was high-strung, my mother. Very dramatic. And every night to her, the night at the opera.
I could stick this fork in your eye!
She wasn't gonna do it. Holy shit, that's why I'm remembering all this.
This is my nightmare.
Come on, Dad, let's go.
I'm coming.
Are they going to like a theater? Like, what are they going? They're just like having a good time.
Yeah. He's spending time with his daughter.
But like that, Tony does kind of the same. I wonder if it's because like the son is kind of gonna inherit the business. You don't want to be that, so like you push away your son because that's the one that's most like you, and you just love your daughter that is nothing like you.
My heart was broken.
But how does this pertain to the situation with your son?
Because this amusement park was where I found out that my father wasn't like other fathers.
Oh, they're gonna get this one.
What's the matter with you cops? Can't bring your kid to an amusement park no more.
When I got home, my mother had a different perspective, which made me feel better.
So in her pain, she reached out to you.
Your father may not be home for dinner tonight. Go wash up.
I saw him getting arrested. What did he do?
They didn't do anything. They just pick on the Italians.
Still, in my heart, I knew my father was no freedom fighter.
So he went to jail?
No, he came home in a couple of hours. We were watching Ed Sullivan.
What happened? Stopped at Nasco's, get you some cherry vanilla.
My son is doomed, right?
Why do you say that?
This is the part when I'm supposed to tell you how terrible my father was and the terrible things he did to me and how he ruined my life. But I'll tell you something, I was proud to be Johnny Soprano's kid. When he beat the shit out of that guy, I went to the class, I told him how tough my father was.
Do you think that's how your son feels about you?
Yeah, probably. And I'm glad. I'm glad if he's proud of me. But that's the bind I'm in, because I don't want him to be like me. He can be anything he wants to be. This guy I knew in high school, his grandfather invented these little ties that go in the salamis. He made millions of dollars. He's sitting on his ass. And what difference would it make? You said so yourself. It's in the blood. It's hereditary.
Genetic predispositions are only that, predispositions. It's not a destiny written in stone.
She finally offers an opinion.
You think that everything that happens is preordained? You don't think that human beings possess free will?
How come I'm not making fucking pots in Peru?
I'm gonna say, well,
You're born to
he
this
has
shit.
to blame something.
You are what you are.
Within that, there's a range of choices. This is America.
Right.
Oh, so now Rocco Alator's a loser? I know I've had to rub Rocco up because of money, but that guy's got a fucking brain. He's gonna open a new book out there, and after that gets up, we get a little cash flow going.
Oh, Mr. Cash Flow, big business
What,
man
he wants to
now.
go
Well, what
legit?
do you know about it? You're scared of your own shadow. After Rocco gets the book up, he's gonna open a new supper club. He wants me to run it.
A supper club.
Me and the kids will go without you.
They are not going anywhere. I'd rather smother them with a pillow than take them to the theater.
Always with the drama.
Livia, here you are.
Oh, Junior,
Her name was 100% on this list, right?
What list?
The list of the hate women.
Yeah, you.
Definitely.
Like 100%
I would put her on the list.
Carmela!
I would put her on the fucking
Yeah,
list.
100%.
Remember the Alator's mom?
Oh, why wouldn't I? You know, they moved to Nevada. They're billionaires now. Oh, that Rocco Alator, he was a real go-getter.
Didn't Dad want to go with him?
Your father? No.
I remember you guys talking about it. Alator was going to start a business. Dad was going to do a little thing with him.
Oh, well, Rocco just got him all worked up, that's all. What is this with all these questions?
Could have had a different life.
You wouldn't let him. Maybe this was his chance to get out. Well, Dad was no choir boy, but maybe with a little bit of support, you know?
Oh, Mr. Sensitive now. Well, if it bothers you, maybe you better talk to a psychiatrist. Well, that's what people do when they're looking for somebody to blame for their life, isn't it?
You're a real stone player, aren't you? You threaten to smother his children. You know, everybody thought Dad was the ruthless one, but I gotta hand it to you. If you'd been born after those feminists, you would have been the real gangster.
I don't know what you're talking about.
As to whether Anthony has ADD, the results were interesting. The APA standard is for the subject to manifest 6 out of 9 possible symptoms of ADD. In testing, Anthony manifested 5 of those symptoms.
He fidgets with hands or feet.
That's right.
And that's a sickness, to fidget.
Mr. Soprano, it's 1 of 9 possible symptoms.
I mean, so what if he fidgets? He's in school. Who doesn't fidget in school? And he doesn't wait his turn. The kid's in puberty. He gets a hard on every 10 minutes, for Christ's sake.
Anthony is a borderline case.
Well, he's not a case. He's a 13-year-old boy. That's the trouble with you people. Every time you see a problem, you turn it into a disease. He's a kid who made a mistake, and he's gonna pay for it. But he's gonna be fine. Come on.
What are you doing?
What's it look like?
Can I have one too?
This one's yours.
How fucking interesting.
I don't know, like, every episode is better and better. I don't know what to do with this.
I mean, this is my favorite part.
I think so. This is so fucking good.
400%.
This is so good.
God.
Again, I have so many thoughts and not enough knowledge. Hard to articulate them.
Yeah.
So, again, this is about to be, I'm going to be a useless person now.
I would like if somebody would, you know, just like in Wire, right?
No, like I've read comments where I'm like, yes, that's what I was thinking. I was just like, I don't know how to say it.
That's what I want in this show as well. Like these long comments and reviews from people who had more time to sit with us. You know what I mean?
Yes.
God.
This is, I just like had like, there were moments in this episode where my eyes were like watering. It's not like it was like emotional or whatever, but I was just getting overwhelmed by how like good it was that I didn't know what to do, and so my eyes just watered.
No, honestly, this was my favorite episode of the season.
I think so as
like,
well.
I really loved everything.
And there were strong contenders, but like I mean, this was always gonna be my favorite aspect of the show.
That's
like
what
it is. It combined Tony's past with his own family and his present with his family.
Son,
yeah, and so like I just think it was such a perfect way to parallel those two. Like maybe not in the best way in terms of like it's not good what we're doing, but I think it was so well done.
Yes, like just like seeing his past and what influenced his life and how he ended up where
that was the whole episode being like made him or
yeah exactly. So like
You corrected yourself.
Those things are always gonna be my favorites. You know, those episodes are always gonna be my favorites.
Yeah.
And like they did parallel in a lot of things in this episode. Like I think it was a perfect episode to put past and the present because he was going through something with his son.
Yeah. Like it was first fascinating to like hear how they were talking about Anthony, and how they were talking about like what traits he exhibits, and like that was in the beginning of the episode, and like I can't remember now exactly everything that they said, but all of that is Tony. Like it seems like all those characteristics are also characteristics that Tony himself exhibits. It was interesting in him defending his son. He was trying to defend himself. And
I mean, he immediately connected it. He immediately, when the guy started talking, he immediately connected it that like all of that is him, and like all of like maybe he's the reason why his sons possesses those traits. You know, why his son. So like he immediately dismissed it. Everything because he connected him. That is interesting because like we had a similar thing with Livia in this episode as well, where she immediately connected when she found out that like
he goes to therapy.
Yeah, the psychiatrist, she immediately connected it to her. She knew like immediately
she
started
was like,
talking he must be talking about me, what I did wrong
or whatever, like, but like dismissingly so.
I mean, similarly how he
that's what I mean. That's so fascinating.
Did for his son, even though both Olivia and Tony, those were immediate thoughts.
Yeah,
you know how they are the reason why their children
are kind of turning out this way
or something like that.
That
was very interesting in my opinion.
Because like I love to get more insight in how he is thinking, and like in this episode, like we saw his dad, and we saw that his dad was not really, he didn't look necessarily too present in his life, because like when Melfi asked about his dad, he thought of his uncle Junior, who was playing catch with him. You know, like it seemed like he was maybe more of a father figure, or like doing fatherly things, even though like Tony seems to have looked up to his dad and seems to have thought of him in some like grand manner. You know, like somehow his father was, I don't know, badass or whatever.
I'm wondering how he feels about his father, because like I remember in one of the first episodes when they talked about his father and Olivia was saying, oh, he was a saint, you know, like that bugged him in some ways. He was saying like,
I was not sure if that bugged him because like his mom was saying that, and his mother, when his father was alive, did not think that. And so like he was annoyed at his mother now like switching it up and being like, oh, he was so great, but like when he was alive we were not saying that, you know. So like I think at that point I took it more
that way.
I think it's interesting to think of his dynamic with his father, because like I feel like his father was maybe similar to him, because like again, he's had a daughter, he had an older daughter, it seemed like, I mean Tony's sister, and like let's say he spent more time with her, even though like there was a background to it, like when he was taking her to the amusement park or whatever, but like let's say they seem to have like a closer bond or whatever.
In some ways I think like when he came home he hugged his daughter more than he hugged his son. No, I'm thinking like, do our fathers sometimes like that with their daughter in comparison to their
son,
male sons?
I mean, I don't know, honestly. Like maybe I have nothing to go off on really. Like my father had two daughters. I have nothing to go off on. But I think for Tony and Tony's father, being in the position what they're in with the mafia, and like I'm assuming there's this, like you're in the mafia and your father was in the mafia, and it's like family business, like it's generational, and like I guess it's assumed that your son is gonna follow in your footsteps. And so like I wondered, even when we started the show, I think we talked about it, how he's gonna act differently towards his kids potentially, because like I think his daughter is kind of everything that he wasn't, and like he feels proud of her because like she's a straight A student, she's gonna go to an Ivy League college, like she is not gonna be in this position. Whereas his son, like he thinks of his son, I guess, as a reflection of him. Thus, he maybe feels, how do I say it? Like when something is a reflection of you, you like them less. You know, you kind of maybe want to avoid that because it reminds you of you. But like you want to be more like your daughter that like maybe took different steps. Like she's not growing up the same way that you did. And that ties into like his circumstances plus his blaming. Like his circumstances did lead him to this type of life. Like again, the world is vast and he has so much opportunity, but like oftentimes you are boxed into what you know. As always, at some point you make your own choices, and he did go into this life. It seems to me like he is putting more blame on his parents than anything else. And like I do think his parents are to blame. I think his mother is like especially to blame. But he did make his own choices, and I think he wants to justify it to himself, like that he ended up here because of only external factors. And that like he had no choice in this matter. Where like he did have some type of choice, like he was talking about.
Dropped off.
That's what I'm gonna say.
College, you know. So like yes, technically he did have some choices. I mean, he did have choices. But like in my opinion, it is interesting that he blames it. It's not like blames it, like makes excuses.
He makes excuses,
for himself.
Yeah.
That's why he ended up here.
Yeah.
Even though I personally believe that like it was easier to end up there.
Yeah.
You know, like it was, like I think it would be harder to go to college where all you see was one type of life your entire life. And that was something that like you have been taught. Like nobody pushed him to college. Nobody, you know what I mean?
Yeah, nobody pushed him further away from this business. No. But like I wonder if his father had a similar approach to how he has with Anthony, because like he said something like Anthony can be anything he wants.
That's what I want. That's what I mean as well. Like that's what.
Because like I think it's interesting. I feel like with Anthony's story, and I can't wait to see, but I feel like he's gonna go down his father's footsteps. I think he's gonna be like a reflection of him, and that's not to say that that's the only thing you can be, because like it's in your genes. Like they talked about this in this episode as well. Like it's not about this being in your blood. Like that's you're maybe more predisposed again with your environment, with what you get, but like things don't need to turn out this way at all. But like sometimes they do, and there are choices that you also make as an adult.
Yeah.
That are gonna put you where you are. But like again, I think it's very interesting that like he only deflects blame, it seems like, to that, and doesn't want to think that like he could have made a different choice, because like it's easier to think that like only your external factors are to blame.
I mean, I think so as well. It's easier to put your blame on somebody else and not you.
Yeah.
Like even immediately when he found out that potentially like AJ has ADD, you know, like, and that like potentially he would be to blame, he dismissed it.
Yeah.
He does not want to put a blame on him.
Yeah. Again, it's interesting that he is paralleling his mother to some degree, who was she was a horrible woman. Like she was a horrible mother. Yeah. But like we saw her in the
past.
Yeah, in the past, and like it's worse when I see her being like that to a kid, because like that's when he is like growing up and developing.
That's what I expected.
And like if he had a better parent, like maybe he would have gone another way. You know, that's why this is like difficult.
I'm wondering, because like I'm wondering who is he gonna parallel, because like I see parallels in those types of behavior with Olivia, but at the same time as I see parallels with his father as well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm wondering because like now we also have Mello and we have AJ, and we saw that Mello is going
Melody.
Mello?
Melody.
Mello.
Meadow,
okay.
Meet in the middle.
Okay.
Because I was like, who the fuck is Mellow?
Meadow, okay.
Meadow, yeah.
We heard that like she's gonna go to Ivy League school. That is actually something that like I see for her, you know. I'm wondering about AJ also. Like their mother is completely different than Olivia. Like Carmela, for all we know, is that at this point when she found out in the beginning, you know, she was also blaming herself in some ways because let's say she stayed with Tony, she chose Tony, she made kids with Tony, you know.
Yep.
She chose this type of life for her kids as well.
Which is also deflecting blame, because like you did choose to have kids with someone like Tony, who was in the mob.
What does it mean, deflecting?
Well, like she is pushing blame onto Tony, and like she is not without blame, because like you also made a choice to be with someone like this.
I didn't see that. I saw that in that moment as her blaming Tony.
I mean, like she was cold, but like she was mad, I guess, at both of them. But like both of them do hold the blame.
Yeah, because in that moment I understood that like she was blaming herself, but like again because she chose Tony as a father of her children.
Yeah,
you know,
because like it again, there are things that come with Tony, which is like financial security. I mean, to a certain point, like what the fuck do you do if the feds come to your door and like you lose everything? I don't know what they're thinking about all that, but like, you know, it's a type of life that you chose. Not the most ideal environment to bring up children in. But like, she seems like a good mom. Like, they were talking about disciplining kids and they're not beating them because Carmela is not allowing that, you know, which is like a pat on the back for the 90s. And them being Italian. Like, I don't think that is necessarily common thing, because I can tell you, like, in Serbia, I think most of the people that I know were like spanked as children. That's like just it seems like a kind of a norm that was in that time for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so
I wouldn't even say spank their children. I would say more.
What?
I would even say go harder than just like spanking.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like depending on my friends and everything, I think I was one of the rare ones, me and my sister, that never got spanked.
Yeah, but like I think they are later generation.
Yeah.
Are we?
I mean, I don't know. Like
When
all
is
my
this?
friends. Oh, them? This is 90. They were born, let's say, 90. 89 or something.
Okay.
But like again, I think comparing to my friends, everyone had a different variety of like, some just got a little, you know, hit on the butt, and then like there was something that was like abusive. You know, like there was a spectrum of things.
To me, usually I would hear very, very abusive things to my family as well before, but like to my mom, to my dad, to like the older generation, you know.
Yeah.
And to children, it was the furthest was spanking that I have heard.
Yeah. No, I think Tony
from
was,
anybody who.
I mean, I'm sure Tony was getting literally abused. Like Olivia was about to stick a fork in his eye.
I think just like words are abusive.
No, I mean, she was mentally, she was emotionally.
Everything that she said, like that was such an interesting scene. Interesting. I mean, that was a horrifying scene. But like, I loved Malfi's reaction.
She was horrified.
She was horrible. She was our reaction, basically. She opened her mouth. She was shocked what he was saying. But like, I love how he was like, "What?" I mean, she didn't mean it. She wasn't about to really.
I mean, again, that like his demeanor to that tells you everything you know about his childhood. That he's like not a big deal. I want to look at that list again. I'm not gonna look at it because I don't know the second person on that list of the most hated female characters.
I'm wondering if it's a sister. I'm really wondering if it's Janice, but like that may be the thing, because like is Janice in Mr. Robot the woman who I fucking hated? I think it's also Janice. So immediately when I heard her name, I was like, oh my god.
In Mr. Robot, who did you hate in Mr.
In
Robot?
season maybe 3, 4, something like that. The 4 who tortured you know what I'm talking about?
No.
The woman who made I don't know English. Made životinje, one.
Oh my god, yes.
Is it Janice?
I'm honestly might have been Janice.
I think it is Janice.
Oh, horrific.
So when I heard her name, I was like,
that sounds evil.
That sounds evil.
I think when I hear
what
Janice...
did they say about the sister? She thought she was too good for a soprano, and she's in California.
Yeah, I mean, she got married. She has a new last name. She is out of this life. I kind of feel like maybe she has no contact with the family because like they were not healthy, and maybe she just like escaped that. And
good.
Tony, yeah, I feel like she is good. I don't even think they were gonna necessarily see her. Maybe like she visits, and we just see the stark difference between her and Tony, because like she ended up differently than Tony again, because like she didn't have to end up like her. Yeah, we saw a baby. What is up with that? I don't think that they ever mentioned, because like I feel like he already mentioned a sister potentially before this episode, because I had something in my mind, but maybe that's from a different show. I don't know.
No, I'm really wondering if it's gonna be a really parallel situation of where one child, like with where one child end up in the business and the other just like runs away. But like again, I still think she was brought up by the same parents. I'm really wondering how Janice or the other kid, like the brother sister, I don't know what the baby was, you know.
But like, again, like if he says she's too good for Sopranos, that means that she does not want to be a part of them. But like he says like she is too good, but like maybe she just has healthy boundaries as to what she wants in her life and what she doesn't want in her life. And so like I just think maybe it could be a good parallel to like show you these are two kids that were brought up by, I mean, I'm gonna say same parents, but you're never brought up by the same parents. Like they treat you differently, but like they have the same genes, and she didn't turn out the way that like
she didn't stick here.
Yeah, Tony did, because like she made different choices.
Honestly, that is again, that is also the thing that like I'm very interested in, because like I'm really we have another sibling. They have another sibling, you know. Yeah. Like I really wanna see.
But now I'm thinking like that sibling dead, like no one's mentioned another sibling.
But like that can be just like a shocking moment of the sibling coming back.
Yeah, true.
You know, in my opinion, at least. True. Like they can be just like, for like being quiet for that type of a reason. You know, true. It's like I'm really wondering. I really want to know all three of them, to see how different they are and how different their life has been. Because again, like you said, they're not brought up by the same parents, but at the same time, Livia is who she is, you know, and we saw how she behaved in that house. I'm gonna put the father on the side, because like so far we just like saw that like in what type of a business he was, you know.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he was not that present, at least for like Tony.
That's what it seems to me, like that he was not that present for his children.
Yeah.
Like, and Livia is the one who was running most of the things. Like Tony said in the last scene, like if you were a part of the feminist, like now, let's say, you know, like you would have been the boss.
Yeah.
You know,
because she was tough.
I mean, she's
ruthless.
She made their life go in the different direction where she didn't allow Tony's father. What's his name? John something on
Jimmy, not Jimmy.
Maybe James.
Johnny.
Maybe when she didn't allow him to basically go with a friend.
Yeah, who later on became like a billionaire or whatever, and like his mother then was like, oh, he's smart or whatever, but like when she was talking to the dad, again, it's a different story.
Yeah, exactly.
And she told Tony like when they were having dinner something like, oh, you remember only the things that you want to remember.
But like,
so do you, Olivia.
That's what I want to say.
Things switch in your fucking brain.
That's what I want to say. In this moment, like basically, she forgot that part.
Yeah, and again, like for Tony, that's just another thing that's in his mind, that like he could have had a different type of a life. And again, that's still deflecting blame of who he has become. As always, I am not, how do I say this? I am very empathetic to where he ended up, because like I do think things were to a degree stacked up against him, and he went down, let's say, an easier route with just falling into this business. Like he could have done something differently, but like
I would have say much easier route. Like like quite the opposite. Like I think that's the route that like most people would have.
Which Tony's?
Yeah. Like I think it would be
it's much more difficult to break the pattern. It's much more difficult to
like when you see the
it.
abusive parents that like he had, and the type of people like he saw, like first time he saw his father, like we had a similar parallel where we met Tony in episode 1. In this episode, he remembered how when was the first time when he saw his father beat up the guy, you know, like, and he was proud of his father, you know. He went to school and
I was like, my dad's tough, whatever,
bragged about who his dad was.
Because like I think they mentioned The Godfather often, and like I guess it's at that point it was like popular, and so like it was, I guess, cool to have your dad being in this like mob business or whatever. But I really I love the fact that he is very concerned about like how his kids are gonna see him, because like at this point we have started this story at the point where both of his kids are becoming aware of his job and who he is, and he is so preoccupied with how they're gonna see him, and he doesn't want to be seen, how do I say this, and this is gonna sound unsympathetic, but I'm really not, but kind of like a loser. Does that make sense? That like he couldn't be anything else and like step out of that life or whatever, and he chose this, and like I think he battles that out with himself as well, because like I think he thinks low of himself, but he really wants his kids to see him as like this badass and like puts food on the table and is providing and like everything good. And so when his kids grow up and like become adults and their brain develops, they might look at that from a different perspective that he doesn't want to face, which I think is such a fascinating aspect.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I also think episode. Like he doesn't want them to blame him either, because he doesn't want to have that blame on himself. Like I also think that, no, honestly, this is very fucking fascinating. Like the whole story. I cannot wait to see more of his relationship with his children, with Carmela, with Livia, because like he wanted and in some ways confronted her.
Yeah, this is the first time he
because he said like children don't confront their parents, you know, like in my time, you know, and he wanted and confronted her that like she was the reason why they are where they are, you know. No, honestly, everything is so fucking fascinating.
This is a perfect episode for me.
For me as well.
This was
like show is going in a perfect direction, honestly.
And every episode just keeps getting better.
Just
and better.
like and some scenes, like I really love some scenes. Like I think my favorite part of the show is how much it focuses on the characters and on Tony, on his thoughts. Again, with going to therapy and everything makes sense, but like that's like there were many scenes in this episode where they're just talking, and I'm thinking like I wouldn't usually see something like this in other shows. Like at the end he's just playing games with his kid, with Anthony or something like that, you know, that tells you a lot what he's thinking and why he's doing those things, you know. But like I definitely expected more, let's say,
but like
action and mafia stuff where he started
this is like they were in school for his kids.
Completely opposite. Like,
but I think wasn't that like last scene very interesting, that like he was giving his son ice cream, like it felt like he was, how do I say this, like validating him, being like, no, there's nothing wrong with you, it's just all of them. And like again, like AJ is a kid, like so like you should in a way act this way to your child, but just again, because he is projecting right now also onto him, it was kind of like, it's not about you, it's about all of them outside of you, so like have this ice cream, like that's how that scene kind of felt to me, which was, I don't know, like there's just
fascinating,
there's just so much to unpack here.
And I just feel like our reviews are not
doing it justice.
No, with like everything that like I feel during the episode, like definitely not doing the justice, even though like I find it even endearing, because like it's a 90s show, is filmed in the 90s. I can really feel that, like some editing choices, like remember the scene when she was remembering Meadow?
He was remembering Meadow.
Like it was so, I thought it was a mistake.
I was like, what is this glitch? Are you in the mafia? Okay.
That was so funny to me, honestly. But like even that, like those things I find endearing, because you can feel it like it's in the past.
No, so far the perfect show.
I agree.
Like
I love everything.
But like, again, I love how every time we were surprised, like this is literally revered as the best show ever made, like top 3 best shows ever made, and
like,
here I am, oh my god, this is so good.
Just because again they are comparing to Breaking Bad, I'm not comparing anything, but like I did expect more crime, more action scene, more murder, more that is somehow what I expected. That is the last thing that like we get, you know.
Yeah,
we get here and there somebody beat somebody up or killed somebody up, you know, but like even those scenes serve for the purpose, you know.
I mean, that's kind of similar to The Wire. I mean, there was horrific scenes, but like I going into The Wire, I thought like it was gonna be blood and gore, and there's so many things that they just tell you it happened, but like they don't show you, because that's not really the point. The whole point is like the systemic things that brought on to all of this happening, and like that is
this show actually reminds me more about more of the Wire.
More of The Wire than Breaking Bad, definitely. I mean, that's just the vibes.
Yeah,
all 3 completely different stories,
completely
but just like the vibes are
and, like the perfect in their own way. I mean, we still don't know with this one.
But if everyone fucking loves it, you know what I mean? Like,
and
I just think
it's just getting better.
We have only just started this,
literally,
you know what I mean?
Really,
so like
love it this much.
This
I know it's gonna be great, honestly.
And we have just started, which is so good. We have so much to go.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye.